Guys, it's me Krashy here, and today I want to be talking about like ESL and the Pro League and stuff that kind of happened yesterday. And basically, let me give you guys a little bit of an introduction. This isn't really what I would call the first episode, but I do want to kind of start a YouTube series to just provide more available content to the Gears of War community. Now, obviously, I don't have, the most reputable reputation or opinion in the world, but I can definitely bring my thoughts to things, and then hopefully that can spark a discussion, and hopefully it doesn't spark any hate, because I really do just want to provide more videos, more things for people to watch regarding Gears of War competitive. So in the background for this video, next time I'll have more edited videos, but I just wanted to get this topic video out because there was something that I really wanted to go over specifically that I think should be discussed. But again, we're going to be talking about ESL and the Pro League Qualifier that happened last night or yesterday. Excuse me. So let's get into it. Basically, yesterday started off, and we all knew the format. It wasn't a bad format at all. I think it was interesting. I would say the worst part about the format was how the people got placed into the groups. I feel like it was a little bit like very, very predictable for kind of group play, and I feel like that maybe had a factor going into it, but it wasn't so bad. So we had Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D, and in each group there were 4 teams, of which would go through a mini bracket in their group, and the 2 teams would advance. So if you made it past your first, like if you win two games, you're already in the winners, and you won your winners match, you're qualified. So very, very simple. If you win 2 games in your group, you qualify. If you win a game and then lose a game, then you have a chance. Like you have to go through like the lower bracket. So you could actually lose a game and then win 2 games and you would qualify, or you could win a game, lose a game, win a game, and qualify. So it's just a mini bracket, not too hard to see. So again, I want to just kind of talk about what transpired as we kind of, I don't know, get through the discussion. Basically, I think everybody's top 8 prediction was fairly obvious. Like, everybody knew or thought we knew what top 8 teams would be in there, and I hope that doesn't pull anything away. Like, if any other team is watching this, I don't mean to take anything away from you. Like Noble, Raw Talent, Frag Dominant, even like Resurrection K, like some of those teams out there, Sloths there, played amazing. It's almost unfortunate that we're not going to have a big open event to see a lot of you teams play against each other on LAN. But like, for example, to me, Tragedy kind of wasn't on their game, and Slothster, like, they won that series in my mind, in my heart, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they won, like they were the victorious team. But the way the game physically plays out, they didn't, weren't able to pick up that last kill on that last round. It drew out, and then they had bad side on Fuel Depot, and they ended up losing it. So congratulations to Tragedy for advancing, and Sloths there, man. You guys put up an amazing fight, like much more than I was expecting, and I kind of slept on you guys just in my mind. Like, I didn't think you could put up almost a winning series versus Tragedy. So kudos to you guys. Resurrection K, I mean, they're a team we've known for years. I don't know much about them specifically, but they, were 2 up in the series against Annex, and maybe Annex wasn't awake, maybe they still had to kind of light the fire, but they were doing really, really well, and so kudos to them. Definitely want to see them still competing. There's so much to keep going on about. Like, there was some amazing games off stream that I'm sure we missed, and I was able to kind of like live tweet about some of the Frag D games because they had their personal streams up, and that was pretty much the major point of controversy, and this is pretty much my major topic with ESL in general. The biggest thing with competitive gaming, and I don't mean like Gears of War or ESL or MLG or anything specifically, just competitive gaming as a whole, is consistency. Like, you have to be consistent with all things, the game, the format, the rules. It needs to be very clear and concise, so that way the players can make educated decisions, whether it be in-game about, how much damage they need to get out or what rotation they want to make. Like, everything just needs to be nice and consistent. And one issue I'm having is that throughout the preseason and throughout now this Pro League Qualifier, the rules for ESL have not been enforced consistently. And I mean, to put it clearly, that just kind of can't happen. Like, if you have rules, you either Right, and there may be, maybe I'm just, totally ignorant to the fact, but you either write in, like, say, a clause or, like, a rule that basically states that on the fly they will possibly make up a rule to better suit that specific tournament for that specific scenario, if need be. But then if that's the point, if that's the case, a major announcement needs to be posted, and every team needs to be informed of the rule change mid-tournament. Now, if you guys don't know what the major controversy was, it was basically I really don't remember what group it was. It was the group that had Frag D in it, Raw Talent, and I believe Noble and Yo. I believe it was Group D. It was the Group D Deciders match, which is basically the very end of the losers bracket between Frag Dominant and Justice Raw Talent. So we saw Justice Raw Talent and Frag Dominant battle it out. They made it to Game 5, and they're going into Mansion. And I believe Frag Dominant is up 1-0 in round count, and then Mence gets, like, kicked out of the lobby. So there's a rule in the ESL site that is 2.7 like going over disconnects, and it basically says, and let's be honest about this. This rule is absolutely ridiculous. It basically states that if a player disconnects before 30 minutes or before 30 seconds, sorry, they can restart the map and 0 penalty will be had. Like, it's, nothing has happened, no harm, no foul. So 30 seconds, no big deal. But the round was already over, and then he disconnects. So that's thrown out the window. The next part of this said rule is that they have 30 seconds to have him reconnect, or the map will be forfeited. 30 seconds to reconnect? It takes me 30 seconds to bring up my guide button and have an invite sent out to my team, let alone he's supposed to be back in that time? I mean, minimum, we're facing 2 rounds down a player, possibly, minimum, I'd say 1, possibly two rounds down a player. So that could give a team a 3-0 lead, potentially in a deciding match, which is just, like, that's just not very well organized, in my opinion. Like, you got to have a better rule there. And here's the other problem with that. So the ruling was, the admin, I believe his name was Toast or something, he decided that, because there have been, some server issues, that they were going to restart the map, and the first round was going to be given to Frag D, and they would be on the right side of the map, because they were the round swap, and that there would be no penalty in terms of, forfeiting a map, even though the other team all left the game and technically should have, by the rules, in the text, in the fine print, forfeited the map. Now, here's the thing. That's fine. But the admin stated that, like, we've been talking about this, like, all of our staff knows that the servers haven't been so great, and, like, we've been talking about this, and this is just how we're ruling it today. Well, one, that should be very clearly stated to the players publicly, so that way we understand that it's okay for us to make decisions like Raw Talent did to leave the lobby and not have to forfeit a map. So, okay, no problem, whatever. We can learn from that. But here's the other problem. In the qualifier, open qualifier number 2, I believe there were 2 teams that were DQ'd for that rule. So that means that regardless of servers, regardless of what the case may be, this rule is being enforced, like, at ESL's hand. Like, they might enforce it, they might not, and that's just not good. Like, how do we as players, like, predict what to do if that rule is not consistent? Like, do we back out and hopefully we don't have to play 2-3 rounds down? Because honestly, as a player, that's the much better option. But it shouldn't even have to come down to that. Like, what do you think I should do? Should I play the team 4v3, which is probably a loss in a round, because the rule says otherwise? You know what I mean? Like, otherwise I'll lose? You know what I mean? Like, no, I would rather back out. So, here's the problem. The rule is ridiculous. There's not enough time in it allowed. And you can't expect the team to forfeit a map because of a disconnect online. It's an online tournament, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we're all competitors, and if you truly are the better team, you should be able to win. And that's, I think, what bothers me. So, in the Raw Talent versus Frag D perspective, the only reason I'm frustrated is because that rule was enforced the opposite direction, like, really really, really close from when this ruling happened. Like the Open Qualifier number 2, I believe there were 2 teams that were disqualified over that rule. So not enforced consistently. The other issue being is that the rule wasn't posted. Like the new change, the kind of on the fly ruling wasn't publicly posted for the players to understand during the tournament. But at the end of the day, Frag D got beat, and so Justice Raw Talent advanced, and I believe they fell regardless, but they advanced, and I don't know, man. It's just a testy thing, because like you're messing with people's potential to do something, and like it just needs to be very consistent and needs to be something that we understand for what it is. Like, I don't know. It just sucks to see like teams get broken and beat like that. But at the same time, like the same goes for the Open Qualifier number 2. Like these teams may not even had that spot if some of the teams in the Open Qualifier had, you know, been there to perform. So I think my message really is we need to improve our communication with the ESL admins and sharing these potential new rules, if that's even really a thing. And or we need to just follow the rules. I mean, it's written in the rules. First of all, let's refine that first rule because it's ridiculous. Second of all, let's follow these rules. So that's really what I have to say. I want to just go out on a limb and kind of get on my tangent because this is just covering the ESL Pro League Qualifier. I believe the production was amazing. It was super fun to see Blaze and Fallout out there. Blaze has come so far as a caster. Definitely want to see him casting every single event. I mean, Blaze his commentary is up there. Now that I'm looking at it, the replay feature was really, really cool, but it was a little overused. I mean, there was like basic kills and like even sometimes like really odd, like embarrassing replays. Like there was one on Fuel Depot where like someone couldn't even kill a downed guy. Like he kept shooting him and he wouldn't die, and they like replayed it like a couple times. So the replays were a bit overused, but that's production. You know, I understand that. They're not maybe super familiar with the game like we are, so they just take the kills and replay them. So not a big deal. It was nice to see the overlay and the production with the overlay, having the round count at the top was really, really nice. And in general, I would say the weakest area of the broadcast was the casting, but it was also a strong point for Blaze specifically. So that's really all I have to say. I just want to see ESL and Gears of War continue to grow, and there are some things that we have to learn as a community, as a tournament organizer, to improve for each scene. Like, this game's not the same as another game, you know what I mean? Like, that could be a standard rule, or it could even have been a well thought out rule for this game specifically, but realistically it either, one, needs to be changed, should really be changed, and two, needs to be enforced consistently or not. Like, that it just needs to be one way or the other. We can't just be making up rules, and if we are, like, then this is a big if we are making up rules, make sure it's well understood by the players participating in the tournament. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the topic video, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. That's going to be it for me talking about the ESL Pro League Qualifier, and I'm very, very excited to see the Pro League now transitioning toward the 50 grand prize pool tournament leading up to ESL at Burbank. So it's going to be an exciting season. I'm really excited to play in the open leagues consistently. Like, I'm going to continue to play, and very excited about Season 2. So let's get this shit.